It's Mondo Cool. It's Mondo Cool. It's Mondo Cool. That's right, boys. Mondo Cool.
Hi, I'm JerryTerrifying, and you're watching Mondo Cool TV. This is the premiere episode, and we're going to be premiering on DATV. It's the local access station here in Dayton, Ohio. I've been working on this project for a very long time, so it's without further ado that we're going to just jump into this first segment. It's about the Clarkade, which is an arcade in one of Dayton's suburbs, Huber Heights. It's a very cool place. The guy that runs it's very friendly, loves to talk about video games. It's a cool environment to learn more about all sorts of classic and modern video games. Very friendly people, lots of cool arcade cabinets. This is the only place I've seen a full-size Galaxy Force 2 in full operation. It's not quite ready for the public yet, but you get to see it in this segment, and it's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and check that out.
Well, I've always liked video games, and I really want to share my video game experience with others. It's just basically, there are a lot of games out there that people don't know about and that I know about, and I learn from people every day about new video games, and it's more of like a sharing experience. People come in, that they talk to me about video games, and we have a good time. Well, we have everything here, pretty much anything related to video game. We have stuff as old as 1978 Magnavox Odyssey, all the way up to PS4 and Xbox One. You can buy and sell anything within that, and also we have a flat rate gaming center, and what that means is for $1 for 10 minutes, $5 an hour, 8 for 2, 10 for 3, or $12 for the whole entire day, you can play whatever you want unlimited. That includes any arcade game plus any console, and we also have a movie-sized projection area too. So we have over 3,000 titles, so anything that we have on the shelves you can go in and play. So we have a lot of rare titles. I mean, some things are a couple $100, but you can come in and play them and try them out, and that's not a normal experience that you can get. We had the 10-minute option for $1 because some people did want to come in and actually put quarters in the machine and couldn't commit to the $5 for the hour because they didn't have that time, because once again they're waiting for a pizza. So if you have $1 and you just want to play some quick arcade games, you can go ahead and do that. So it's a good option. People have been really happy about that. It's also a good way to introduce them to the arcade. People haven't seen or been in an arcade for quite some time. Yep. Now that we're in a bigger space, we were in a smaller 1,000 square foot space. Now we're in a 2,000 square foot space. So now we have a lot of space where we have tables and everything. We actually just did a birthday party a couple weeks ago, and they were super happy. We got a hot dog machine now, and it had unlimited hot dogs. So they were really happy with that experience. Seems like Super Smash Bros. Has a huge following. I started out with Nintendo 64, and then Melee the GameCube picked up a lot of popularity, and as of lately, Smash Brothers for Wii U, also known as Smash 4, has really gained in popularity. We have tournaments of about 10 or so a week on a Monday night of all nights. My kids usually like coming in and hanging out, and they really like interacting with the customers. Ironically enough, when we started the Smash Brothers event, they haven't played Smash Brothers for many years, but now they see that it's so exciting, and the environment's out there, and there's so many people that play it, and they love interacting with the players, that they get super excited to come every Monday when we have the events, and they're actually home right now playing Smash Brothers, practicing for the next event. So. The comments are very, very positive. They're really excited when they come in here. They're happy. They're just talking about video games. Sometimes they just want to hang out and talk for a bit. But the reception's been pretty positive. Just really need to build it up by word of mouth.
And that was the Clarkade. Its address should be appearing here right now. And it's in Huber Heights on Brant Pike in the same shopping center as Casano's, if you're familiar with the area. Be sure to check it out. Since they've been open, they've grown considerably. They've doubled in size since I first discovered them a few months ago. And there's always new games coming in, lots of stuff for sale. You can sit down and play them. You can pay for time and check out those arcade cabinets. Highly recommended. Go ahead and check out the Clarkade. For this premiere episode of Mondo Cool TV, I wanted to check out a series that's very near and dear to my heart. Those of you that may be new to the Mondo Cool Media empire may not know that I am a huge fan of arcade light gun shooters. There's nothing quite as immersive as actually picking up a light gun, taking aim, and interacting with the world. There's nothing quite like it, I think. This is one of my favorite genres of video games, and me being the spooky individual that I am, naturally feel a deep bonding connection with something spooky like House of the Dead. So let's go ahead and take a look at this segment and check out House of the Dead right here on Mondo Cool TV.
The House of the Dead is a series of arcade light gun games that chronicle the struggles of several AMS agents against the creatures set loose upon the world by Dr. Curian and Goldman. From the 1998 Curian Mansion incident through the climatic battle of 2019 with the Wheel of Fate. The charm of the House of the Dead series is that it hits that same sweet spot that grindhouse exploitation and drive-in cinema hit. Bare-bones plots, terrible acting, over-the-top characters are the driving force behind the House of the Dead's lasting appeal.
James, I tried. Don't underestimate the enemy. James, take this.
I was looking for you, James.
What's going on? The city's chaos is increasing.
Don't run! Go away!
While zombie apocalypse video games are more mainstream than they've ever been, the classic series, The House of the Dead, works with that scenario perhaps better than any other game. The fast-paced and intense action of an arcade light gun shooter combined with the horrific visuals of a creature outbreak combine to give players a unique adrenaline-pumping experience. Players use a plastic gun that requires actual aiming, which in turn allows for more fast-paced gameplay and ultimately more immersion and excitement for the player. The House of the Dead actually takes you into the Curian Mansion, and only your skill can get you out.
Help!
Sophie, are you okay?
I was so scared!
Sophie Richards, a research assistant for the DBR Corporation, was having one hell of a bad day at work when she called her fiancé, Thomas Rogan, for help.
Everyone's getting killed!
Thomas Rogan is an AMS agent and just the man she needed when Dr. Curian's creatures were set loose upon the Curian Mansion. Agent Rogan and his partner, known only as G, quickly arrive on the scene to clean up the House of the Dead. Battling fierce creatures such as the Chariot, the Hanged Man, and Magician, Rogan and G stop Curian and his deadly creatures. Alternate paths discovered by saving or failing to save scientists shooting hidden doors and switches offer a fair amount of replayability. There are health items and special bonus items that award the player with big points if you shoot them. There are multiple endings depending on how many continues and points you get. The House of the Dead's atmosphere was heavily inspired by the film Seven. All of the bosses in the main House of the Dead series are named after the major arcana of tarot cards. The House of the Dead could be played on the Sega Saturn, PC, and in arcades. G has gone missing in Venice, Italy. Agents James Taylor and Gary Stewart are sent in to get to the bottom of things with support from Amy Crystal and Harry Harris. Early on, you find G and receive a field journal detailing the boss enemy's weak points. It's revealed that Dr. Curian's funding came from Caleb Goldman, who was responsible for the outbreak in Venice. When the AMS agents get to Goldman's tower, they're greeted by the magician, Curian's masterpiece.
What? Can't be. You're...
I've been waiting for this time to come. You have no future. Either I give you, or the Emperor will. Either way, your fate is in our hands.
The AMS agents make it to Goldman just in time to see the birth of the Emperor, Goldman's ultimate creation designed to rule over nature and atone for man's sins.
I'm fully aware of what I'm doing. Can't you see? Man committed a sin, disturbing the life cycle of nature. The original sin that man is responsible to protect the life cycle. I have made a creature to rule over mankind. This is the final battle. Show yourself, our new ruler, the Emperor.
House of the Dead 2 spawned many spin-offs, such as Typing the Dead, Pinball the Dead, and Zombie Revenge. While I've used the word zombie a few times, you may notice that it isn't used in any of the main games. This is because the creator of the series feels that the monsters are created creatures rather than zombies. House of the Dead 2 can be played on the Dreamcast, Wii, PC, and in arcades. House of the Dead 3 is actually the conclusion of the series. In the year 2019, Thomas Rogan and his team of highly trained agents are investigating the EFI research facility, which may be linked to the disaster. During Thomas's raid, he's attacked by Type 11 Death. 2 weeks later, G and Lisa Rogan, the daughter of Thomas Rogan and Sophie Richards, come to rescue Thomas. While this game takes place at the end of the House of the Dead timeline, the majority of the story is a series of flashbacks. The flashbacks show Dr. Curian trying to cure his son Daniel. As Dr. Curian grows more desperate, he becomes obsessed with the nature of life and death. Ultimately, his research would lead to the creation of many gruesome creatures. Unlike the first two games in the series, players are given a choice in where to go and in what order. There are different results depending on the order chosen. Instead of rescuing civilians, you occasionally are prompted to rescue the second player from attacking creatures. House of the Dead 3 was originally going to have cel-shaded graphics. House of the Dead 3 can be played on the Xbox, Wii, PlayStation 3, PC, and in arcades. Former AMS agent James Taylor is gathering information and needs help getting into the AMS European branch office. Help that new AMS agent Kate Green is more than happy to provide. An explosion traps the pair in the basement for a few days, and while waiting for help, an AMS PDA alerts the pair to the presence of mutants.
It can't be.
Kate gathers as much weaponry and ammo as she can carry as they plan their escape through the creature-infested AMS building. They soon discover a plot to launch nuclear missiles all around the world in 24 hours' time.
some information. We might be able to find some information in here. Find anything?
Looks like my bad feelings were right. Look at the monitor.
What's that?
Somebody's trying to launch the nuclear missiles.
What? Someone's gotta stop it!
Cage, we've got to get back to the surface.
Goldman alerts the agents via the PDA that the missiles will be launched in 1 hour to lure them to his building.
To my dear AMS agents, everything's set.
I knew you were behind this. There's something else we must do. I think I have an idea where to start. Let's go.
In Chapter 5, Reunion, you can see the hole in the bridge Hierophant left in House of the Dead 2. Goldman's ultimate plan is to unleash a creature known as the World, who will revert mankind to its original state in order to prevent man from harming the planet further.
James, that's...
Kate, let's go.
House of the Dead 4 is the first arcade game to have a high-definition widescreen display. Rather than rescuing civilians or the second player, there are more health items in the level as well as hidden bonus rooms. House of the Dead 4 Special continues the story and has a moving seat and two 100-inch screens. Players sit down and buckle up. The seat rotates from screen to screen, giving the impression players are surrounded by creatures. When the player is hit by creatures, there's a blast of air. In this arcade version of the game, there are no continues. In the PS3 version of House of the Dead 4, House of the Dead Special can be unlocked after completing the game for the first time. House of the Dead 4 is the first game on Sega's Lindbergh hardware. House of the Dead 4 can be played on the PS3 and in arcades. House of the Dead Overkill stars Agent G, a rookie investigating a mutant outbreak in the town of Bayou.
A secret agent, immaculate, intelligent, a rookie. They call him only G. His identity, a mystery.
G teams up with Isaac Washington, a cop on a quest of revenge for the murder of his father at the hands of Papa Caesar.
By tomorrow morning, I'll have my motherfucking revenge. Papa Caesar will be dead.
Through the course of the game, players learn about the origin of the mutant outbreak, a top-secret government super soldier serum called Formula X, developed 40 years before the events of the game during the Cold War. I won't mention the final boss of this game because it's one of the filthiest things I've ever seen. Think the ending of Dead Alive. Truly remarkable. House of the Dead Overkill Extended Cut for the PS3 includes more blood, more gore, and more strippers, adding 2 levels starring Varla Guns and Candy Striper, who are on a mission to avenge the death of Jasper Guns. This game was developed by Headstrong Games, originally for the Wii. Takashi Oda was not involved in the creation of the game, but did provide some rules for the game's universe. Taking heavy inspiration from the film Planet Terror, this game is presented in the style of a 70s grindhouse exploitation film. This game's bosses are not named after tarot cards, which is a big departure from the main series. At one point, the game held the Guinness World Record for usage of the word fuck. The word was used in the game 189 times. In line with the grindhouse feel, there are intentional continuity errors like Jasper's glasses being knocked off then inexplicably back on in the next scene, and missing reels.
You impotent cripple. Think of your sister before threatening Papa Caesar. Next time you speak, turn the volume to 0. F***ing cabbage.
Nobody threatens Varla.
The ultimate sacrifice.
Freeze, bitches!
Because of the shocking nature of the following scenes, they are definitely not recommended for the squeamish or the easily offended.
House of the Dead Overkill is the first console-exclusive House of the Dead game and can be played on the Wii, PS3, PC, iOS, and Android. Zombie Revenge is a 3D brawler set in the same universe as House of the Dead. I find it interesting that the game's title has the Z word, when the core series makes a great effort to never use it. 3 of the best AMS agents, Stick Brightling, Linda Rada, and Rikia Busujima, are sent into a city to investigate a zombie outbreak. There are many references to the House of the Dead series. Notice the Thomas Rogan and G icons. There's a level that goes through the Curian Mansion, and the final boss is named Black Magician Type 01. Playing the VMU minigames can unlock cheat options in the main game, such as free play mode. Originally titled Blood Bullet: The House of the Dead Side Story, the game was later renamed Zombie's Nightmare before Sega settled on the name Zombie Revenge. A port for the PS2 was planned, but ultimately cancelled. Zombie Revenge's main theme was also used in the House of the Dead 2 as the Emperor's theme. This game can be played on the Dreamcast and in arcades. Pinball of the Dead, based on House of the Dead 2, is a pinball game that features 3 tables and a few modes. Bounce balls into creatures and rack up points. The Typing of the Dead is a conversion of House of the Dead 2, only this time you use a keyboard to slay mutants. Letters, words, and short phrases appear on screen, and as you type them, creatures are mowed down with bullets. This is perhaps the greatest edutainment title. This game can be played on the Dreamcast, PS2, the PC, and in arcades. The Typing of the Dead 2 is a conversion of House of the Dead 3. Again, you type to shoot creatures, and sadly this game is a Japanese exclusive. It can be played on the PC and in arcades. The Typing of the Dead Overkill is based on House of the Dead Overkill. This game does come with House of the Dead Overkill as an unlockable, which works with the mouse. There is a multiplayer mode and various DLC packs that change the words players are tasked with typing. This can be played on the PC. The English of the Dead. This Nintendo DS title teaches English. Japanese words appear below the creatures and players must type in the English translation. This is another conversion of House of the Dead 2. This game can be played on the Nintendo DS. Flick of the Dead is another conversion of House of the Dead 2. This Japanese iOS game teaches Apple's Hiragana Flick input method. The House of the Dead EX stars a pair of creatures that fall in love and are attempting to escape captivity. The game is less serious in tone and is a collection of minigames. The arcade cabinet has a light gun and a pedal used in various ways during the minigames. This game can be played in Japanese arcades. There was a line of House of the Dead figures released by Palisades Toys. A second series was planned and sculpted but ultimately never saw production after the disappointing sales of the first line. Here's some concept art and prototypes from the second line. Sega Superstars is a collection of Sega-themed minigames. The House of the Dead minigame is what I call an on-rails slapper. The game uses the iToy, a USB camera for the PS2, to put players in the game. When you're in the game, you typically flail or slap. Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing is a kart racer developed by Sumo Digital. House of the Dead gets some love by including Zobio and Zobiko from House of the Dead EX as playable characters, and there are multiple tracks running through Curian Mansion. In Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed, Zobio and Zobiko are no longer playable characters, and there's only one track through Curian Mansion. Though you can still see the creature couple in the background, getting married. Truly a touching moment. In Sega Superstar Tennis, there's a court based on the Curian Mansion. There's also a minigame where players fight off zombies by blasting them with tennis balls. Project Cross Zone is a Nintendo 3DS tactical RPG featuring characters from Capcom, Namco Bandai, and Sega. Rikia Busujima from Zombie Revenge appears in the game. The only redeeming feature of the first House of the Dead film is Clint Howard.
They crazy.
No, I don't think so.
Excuse me?
I said forget it.
Yeah, forget it. Forget it. That means stop talking, start walking.
Why?
Why? Why? Why? They always ask why.
You know what they call this island? Isla del Muerte.
Muerte. That's Spanish for death. In case you don't speak Mexican.
And the Asian woman in her patriotic onesie. I still can't figure out why footage from the games was spliced into this film. There's a director's cut version that adds fart noises and speech bubbles. They call this the funny version, although I'm not sure if it's ironic or not. The second film incorporates more plot elements from the games. There's Professor Curian, AMS agents, but that's about it. If you're a fan of awful fake jugs, you might enjoy the painful panty raid opening scene. Somehow the acting is worse in this film. This movie features the acting talents of Sticky Fingers from the rap group Onyx. Cyril, the first creature seen in the first House of the Dead, makes a cameo in Wreck-It Ralph in the Badanon support group.
You must love you.
You haven't seen anything yet.
What'd you think about that? That was a pretty spooky series, wasn't it? Lots of creatures and undead, nightmarish, ghoulish beings for you to shoot. It's kind of sad that light gun games have sort of fallen to the wayside due to the new monitor technology of the high-definition television. There was a little bit of a resurgence on the Wii, which I thought was pretty awesome. I'm a big fan of all the House of the Dead ports to the Wii. They're not perfect. The aiming's a little less accurate, a little more wonky, but it was nice being able to find these games easily and affordably. If you have any feedback, comments, questions, anything you'd like to see on the show, any constructive criticism that will probably make me cry myself to sleep at night because I've put in my absolute best effort on this project, or you can leave them at the Mondo Cool hotline at 937-419-1223. If there's anything you'd like to see on the program, any questions you have about the program, anything really, you can go ahead and leave a voicemail and I'll play that on a future episode. And that'll do it for this episode. Go ahead and follow me on social media. On Instagram, I'm JerryTerrifying. On Facebook, we're facebook.com/MondoCoolMedia. YouTube is youtube.com/MondoCoolMediaCX. And youtube.com/JerryTerrifying. I'll be uploading the show to both those locations. And Twitter, I am at JerryTerrifying. So that'll do it for this episode of Mondo Cool TV. Next time, we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite Namco series, Rolling Thunder.